This is the one I'm making right here. Welding with a mirror. So here's the idea, something like that.
Back in 2019, we spent the year building out our schoolie. After the build was done, we sold our house and traveled for a full year. Following that year of travel, we started to crave building again and getting something 4x4.
So I stiffened the floor here. I didn't finish prepping all of the original sheet metal before I put in this stuff. So where we cut the roof off, it was very roughly done. So now what I'm gonna do is take my saw and properly cut the roof. It's kind of like two different pieces. You have your structure underneath and then your flimsy sheet metal over top that structure. So we're gonna cut off that flimsy sheet metal so that way everything can get bolted down to the structure all the way across the roof. So I have my helmet on, it has different modes, so I have it on a grind mode right now, so it's just green rather than actually darkening. I don't have a face shield, and the saw is throwing up chips everywhere, so I'm trying to protect my face. Okay, so I cut as much as I could with that saw. So you can see it's all flapping loose now, but I can't get at the corners. So hopefully I can take the grinder and just round the corners with the grinder. So it's hard for me to believe that this gave any structure to the bottom part because, I mean, they're not attached. So basically the idea is on top of this we're going to mount wood all the way across. So here above the door there's a lot more structure because it's all bent metal.
Lance trimmed down this area. This was kind of just like a quick trim and he lasted it, and then he added this metal here as well to help stiffen up the shelf, and he also cleaned up all of these sides. It feels really good to finally start seeing the van go forward rather than backwards. Today Lance is installing the mini split.
This is the one I'm making right here. I hope you can see this pretty well. So my plan is, we have these columns here. These are pretty structural. I want to tie all the way across this guy here. So I want to tie into the sides of these columns and then the whole top, giving structure throughout the entire thing. Before I even start on the outside, I'm going to make this inside piece. I'm trying to think if I want to make this permanent as in like welded in, or do I want to make it bolted in? Because I can always cut it off, but there's going to be permanent holes in this. So I'm thinking I'm leaning towards permanent. My idea is to drop these 1x1 posts that I have down into these sides, have them come up, and then weld a solid 1x1 across here. So what that'll do is give me a really good foundation to attach everything to. The piece coming out, I'm thinking we'll tie in from the corners that way and then from there back. So we want triangulation. Ideally we'd have it from the top down, but there's not much structure there. So what I might end up doing is I might bring these 1x1s up here, and then in the future I can tie in from there with some like paracord or chain or whatever and go down to the structure if it starts to kind of sag too much. We start to get a hard bend right here at the end of that hole. So I think I'm gonna make this like 38 inches. Maybe I'll do 36. So 36 would be there. So yeah, I'm gonna do 36. So I'm gonna have 36 here, 36 here. They're gonna drop down. I like this. I like where this is headed actually. And then the post across here, weld to those two sides, and then everything coming out will weld to the post in the center, which I think is gonna be real nice. So these columns are supporting it, and then as well as this entire structure across will support it because it'll be welded all the way down. The hardest thing is, I mean, like fiberglass is strong, but it's not that strong. Oh, this is working real well because I still need to put structure for the awning. So what I'll probably do is, since this will go all the way up here, I can build structure right off this post and head it that way on the roof. Bring a couple tie downs there. Now I have basically this entire side is all structure. I like this. I like this. This is my thought process. This is how I think. I kind of like problem, solution, cause, effect. That's kind of how I think. So I used to build roll cages, and I'm kind of doing the same thing here. So I have a tube here and here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but it goes down to about here inside this column, and they're just clamped to the side right now, and pretty good. So what I've done, I've cut out this pipe here, tube, square piece of metal. I'm gonna set it up here, and I'm going to cut it square with the direction. I've got to match those wonky angles that are kind of bam, cut down. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that. Then I'll tack it in, and I'll be able to pull this up, weld those all the way around, and then I can slide it back in on top here. I mark this way, and then, so I mark this direction and this direction. So now I'm gonna just take my saw and chop off that corner and see how it fits.
Pretty good, but it's actually going to come pretty in line with where those boxes are. And then there's supports on the inside, adding more supports for the roof because we want it to be strong and we don't want anything to happen to it, obviously. But how cool is this? Kind of crazy.
I'm welding with a mirror.
Really?
Yeah,
like
so
a dentist.
Yeah, since I'm like this, I hold it up here and I look through my little teeny mirror so I can see where I'm actually welding.
Nice.
180 degrees.
She's definitely a unit, as in an AC unit.
Damn, that is a unit. It doesn't look too much.
No.
I mean, it looks like a lot.
But no, I think it looks good, yeah.
Perfect. It's just a smidge shorter, so that way the wind doesn't catch it.
So Lance is grinding down these nuts.
Yeah, so I'm making them skinnier to fit in the what Allie will show.
I'll show you. In order to support the awning on the other side, Lance is adding, we already added that metal for the mini split, but we're also gonna add this top one, and it's gonna connect down to that metal support.
This is the original size and it doesn't fit. I didn't think about it. This is 1/2 inch, so I figured it would fit. So now we're grinding them down so it slots in there.
She fits. Just give me a minute. Good. Go. So what a lot that's
very expensive. Is it wobbly? A bit. Probably make like a little cradle right here from there to there.
So Lance has been doing some welding and fabricating back on the bumpers again, and I know it feels like we worked on this forever ago, but basically to make them stronger and beefier. We actually hit the front bumper with the orange truck a few weeks ago, and it bent a little bit, so we could see some weak points that we want to strengthen up. So on the front here, Lance added the winch plate, and then he's also adding, you can see these metal plates, and then it actually bent this, and we hit it pretty hard, so it makes sense, but you can see how it's bent bent up a little bit. So he's gonna be adding some supports that way. And then in the front here, after those modifications are made, along with these ones that he's already done, this should be good to go. Lance is also going to figure out how to do the light mounts. We ordered those, they're not in yet. If you didn't see the last video, then you probably don't know that we are trying to get everything on the outside finished, wiring, anything that's going to be attached to the vehicle on, so that way we can paint it and call that a day before stepping back into the inside. Yesterday, Lance did these here to support the back bumper, and he also added this part, which I think is so cool. See the metal support under this tire. It was a little bit top heavy. These doors were not meant to support this much weight, which is why we're having to modify it so much, and that's okay. We knew that going into it. We actually just got the new spare tire, so now you can see how the whole back looks together. Those will be painted. That's going to be painted. We're not going to have anything white. We're going to paint the awning and all that stuff too, so it will all match. We're not telling you the color yet, but don't worry, it's not going to look like this.
See how I have a straight piece here and I need it curved? I'd like to show you how I curve it. So I tap, and then I can just push, or you can hammer. I decided to just weld that on. So now what I can do is, so see how we're getting this curve here? So basically I'm going to tack right about here, and then I will pound it some more and bend it some more, then move up, tack some more, bend it, move up, tack more, and I'll get a perfectly matched curve without having any fancy tools. Put that there. So it so happens that these are 2-inch inserts here. So I can line these up pretty good and get straight, so I don't have to worry about it walking sideways. I'm trying to cradle this tank, so I'm making a hoop here at the same circumference as this tank.
And that's going to be going right underneath those.
So right here is the idea. This is too tight of a radius. Way too tight of a radius there. Now I manipulate it until it fits perfect. Not too shabby. That's cool, huh? A roller like that.
Whoa, 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 mister.
You think that's good?
I think that's perfect.
So here's the idea. We have a stopper there, and then it'll sit something like that.
Think that's gonna work good?
I think so. Looks cool too, having the straps
Yeah,
like that.
it does. Hank's terrified of vacuums, and our vacuum is red, and this welder's red, so now he thinks it's the vacuum, so he goes and
They are pretty
hides from
similar.
it. They do look a lot alike.
This is the vacuum, and that's the welder.
So Hank, we understand, buddy. Oh, he's just hiding.
Gauge doesn't work, so I did a sound test. This structure here is just welded to the swing out, not the boxes, so that way we can take the boxes off in the future if we want to. will go here, like yay. Basically, the idea with this is to stiffen up this joint here. So it took a little bit of finagling because those rings obviously weren't perfectly round. So what happened is we had pushed the tank in and then they were slightly off and then we couldn't get the dang thing back out. But after tapping it around and stuff, now it's pretty smooth.
Lance just said sweet.
So it's not tight, but it doesn't need to be. It's just a safety thing. This here binds, which I thought sucked at first, but I kind of like it now. So we don't want this coming out. So to get it out, you kind of need to like, right?
Yeah.
And right now, the cable's tight.
Oh, perfect.
So it's still in here. So let's say we're going down a dirt road and it rattles itself out, it's still not gonna come out. So now you just, there's a carabiner, and then you just slip it off. It's just a little simple chokey collar.
That's perfect.
Tank done.
That's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell if you want to get notified every time we post. My goal is to get us posting 3 times a week, so make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you on the next one.